Culture ablaze by the majority. Tired of complacency, ready for the anarchy. Cause what's left to lose? Everything is lost. Time to turn to the new. Stand in your ground, hold it. Man-made earthquakes shake their foundation of centuries of colonies. Time for erasure of stains. Questions. Whys. What about us?
Good morning. My name is Chad Neal, and you are tuning in to the Urban Conservative. Today, I have with me my co-host, executive producer, Jontel Tolan.
You already know. Good morning, y'all. Grand Rising. Hope you are well, feeling blessed and rejuvenated. Thank you for having me, Chaz. You already know.
Always, my brother, always. You are tuning in to the Urban Conservative. I'm Chaz Neal, activist based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we're being brought to you today by the Leon Black Independent Media. We are all about transparency, truth, and accountability. The Urban Conservative is all about the news on the streets, gun violence, crime, politics, and how we solve our community's most hardest issues. How can we change our communities for the better? Let's get back to family, community, and foundational roots. Let's make sure nobody gets left behind. Shut up and help. So you already know what today is. Today is Truthful Tuesday.
Right.
And I have a quote. Couldn't really pronounce their name, so I'm not gonna mess up their name. But as Black people, our lives are not tragedies. I will keep fighting against that narrative. Our lives are survival stories that have been passed down from generation to generation. These stories are about joy and celebration and our inherent power. No one has the capacity to steal our joy. We must resist, and keep resisting. We refuse to be annihilated. And that's the truth. That is the raw truth, and that matters. And they are trying to erase our truth and our history, and we can't let that happen. So you know what that means? We got to resist.
Talk
We
about
have
it.
to fight. And with that today, we're going to start off today talking about, it's Truthful Tuesday, and we're going to talk about how the city of Minneapolis, Mayor Frey, treats homeless people. And it ain't very good.
That everybody in this city deserves an affordable place to stay in a safe, thriving neighborhood. They deserve the ability to go home at night, shut the door on the world, lay there, lay down, and rejuvenate for the next day. And not everybody has that. Not everybody has that. So affordable housing is the reason that I studied law. It's the main reason that I got into politics. And it's the primary reason why I'm running for mayor right now. We have a dearth of it right now in our city. We have a crisis. It needs very clear action steps as to how we're going to make sure that everybody can live in a free city and everybody can live in a neighborhood.
Today, we had construction guys just come in here and destroy our homes, you know. For those of us that don't have big houses and don't have the opportunity others have, this is our reality today. Here's my belongings to the best of my ability what I could have collected. Um, they brought police officers and we try to get most of our stuff out, you know, and they wouldn't give us enough time. They had at least 20 to 30 guys over there, and they're just watching, side commenting, not lifting a finger, helping people at least recover their property. It's sad, like, hey, they put in a hard sweat and time, you feel me? Building these places and these tents and like trying to find a place to live, you know. To see this is the sad, you know.
Hey, Minneapolis, the sun is out. It is a beautiful day. I'm thinking of signing an official emergency regulation today that simply requires you to get out.
Right now, more than ever, public service is not about being somebody, it's about doing something. And right now in Minneapolis, there's a whole lot that we can and need to be doing. And look no further than just right outside at this moment. You've got
Oh, wow.
where it is an absolute downpour. And we still have people in our city that are homeless. I believe that everybody in this city deserves an affordable place to stay in a safe, thriving neighborhood. They deserve the ability to go home at night, shut the door on the world, lay down and rejuvenate for the next day. And not everybody has that. Not everybody has that. So
Damn right.
affordable housing is the reason that I studied law. It's the main
True.
reason.
Okay.
You know what's crazy is he's talking about that's the reason why he got into politics is and I really want to thank if people don't know who this is, please go follow the Twin City Encampment Responders. They do very great work. It's a mutual aid group. And if people don't know what mutual aid means, that means that it's a group of people came together to do change. They're on Twitter, and this is Instagram that we're on right now. But very great organization, does great work. And honestly, if it wasn't for them, a lot of the stories that come out about the homeless, we wouldn't know about because mainstream media does not cover that type of thing. Just like they don't cover the shootings downtown. They don't cover the violence. They only cover what they want to cover. And it's crazy because it's last night we got down to 23 degrees in Minneapolis, and yet we have people still sleeping in tents. That's not okay with me. And they're sleeping just this morning, you know, Ashley's out and about, you know, work, and sends me a picture of tents under a bridge. And it's like, that's how we're treating people. That's why you got into politics, sir. You're doing a very shitty job. Very shitty. This is a man that promised us in Minneapolis that he would end homelessness, but only has made homelessness worse. Make that make sense. Make that make sense to me. But this is a man that we vote for. This is a man that we stand behind instead of holding accountable his lies, because he's not being truthful and he's not being transparent. And I know that here on the Urban Conservative, I talk a lot about Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's where I'm based at. But I do talk about stories everywhere. I talk about national stories. I want to talk about stories that matter. And this next one, you know, people aren't going to like what I got to say, but it's the truth. And people don't like the truth. And that's what we're really going to get into. And I want to say this, that I don't know what anti-Semitic means. You know, I do know that I don't see religion. I understand that some people do. I see people as being human beings, regardless of whatever background they have, that's sexually, that's religion, politics. I want to get to know that person. And to get to know the person, I don't really care about their politics. I don't care about their sexual orientation. I care about their heart. I care about their personality, and religion and politics and sexuality has nothing to do with personality. For me, anyways, or how a person thinks, how a person talks. So we're going to get into that, because a lot of what Kanye West, and I want people to know, if you're looking to Kanye as a leader, he is in his own individual right. He is a great musical artist, somebody that has put out a lot of great music that we listen to for years, and it wouldn't honestly rap, hip hop wouldn't be where it is today without Kanye West. Has done a lot. Jay-Z, we wouldn't know the Jay-Z. We wouldn't know a lot of the musical artists that we listen to today in today's time. We can't, just like with R. Kelly, we can't take away what R. Kelly did for music. Yes, is he a sick individual? Yes. Mm-hmm. But we can't take away the legacy. That's censoring to me, because there was a lot of things that we're going to do that with R. Kelly, then we got to do the same thing with Elvis. We have to do the same thing with so many other musical artists back in the day, because we got to understand that it's a different time period in what Kanye is saying. And I'm not talking about George Floyd, because he's wrong in that. To me, that is uneducated. But I'm also got to give it up to Noriega, because he didn't say Kanye.
What about Noriega?
He didn't censor Kanye. He let Kanye speak his mind. Even if he didn't agree with it, he didn't shut him down. Right. And that's what free speech is all about. Now, we can learn from these situations and grow from it. We don't have to take every situation and blow it out of proportion and to censor or to say, oh, he's got mental health issues. Because if people were worried about Kanye West's mental health issues, where were they at before he became public with all the supposed called craziness? So talk about it. I want to get into a couple of clips of Kanye and his marketing, what they want to consider censorship. So this is his interview with Tucker Carlson, and he's talking about the 12 tribes of Judah. Now, I want people to pay attention to the words, not as so much the hurtful words, but the words, period.
Is my belief. And I believe that if we saw ourselves as more, Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenics with the KKK to
no lie detected
the Jew population. When I say Jew, I mean the 12 lost tribes of Judah, the blood of Christ, who the people known as the race Black really are. This is who our people are, the blood of Christ. This, as a Christian, is my belief. And I believe that if we saw ourselves as more Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger.
So I took that clip for a reason, because what Kanye is talking about is there's no lies detected.
Right.
Now, how is that? And I'm not gonna go with the whole calling Tucker Carlson a white supremacist. I'm not gonna go that far. Maybe Negrophobia, not even maybe, definitely Negrophobia. But to see the things that Kanye is going through for his words. Now, you have to understand who controls the things that he's talking about, because he's not lying when he says that Jewish people are trying to silence him. Because when you look at the CEOs, the founders of, let's say, Revolt, which is owned by Diddy,
Right.
but Diddy isn't his own man, because Diddy is under another label. So Bad Boy is distributed by, I think it's Interscope, which is Jimmy Iovine, who is Jewish. Now, you look at anybody like Tommy Mottola, you look at
David Geffen.
right, David Geffen, you look at who is this at
Tommy Mottola's one.
Clive Davis.
Clive Davis, yup.
David Geffen, Clive Davis, Jimmy Iovine, Tommy Mottola. And honestly, all you got to do is look up who runs these music companies, these movies, and not to say that anything bad about Jewish people, but that's what it all comes back to. I don't know the full extent story behind of everything, but when you are talking certain things and people are trying to silence you, that's not anti-Semitic.
Talk about it.
It's he's talking about his own personal experience. So I'm not going to sit here and jump on the bandwagon and call him anti-Semitic. I'm not going to call him because that's his own personal experience, and I'm not going to disregard what he goes through in his own being, because first of all, that's a billionaire. So I don't understand the kind of problems that he has, because I'm not a billionaire. I don't have people trying to shut me up or suit me for the things that I'm saying on social media, or I've been through some of that. You know, they shut down my clothing line. They put me in jail for things that I've said. But to get to the extent of trying to bankrupt me or take me to court, I don't have money like that. So at the end of the day, my personal opinion doesn't matter to others to a certain degree.
Right.
But when it comes to when you got money, you have power. Because where has Kanye been at for the last 2 weeks? He's been on every damn podcast, every radio station.
Right,
Everybody wants to talk to Kanye right now. Everybody wants to talk to Kanye. But then everybody else wants to involve others around Kanye. And is that right? Because why do we want other people's opinion about his personal opinions? That doesn't make any sense to me. That is that man's personal opinion about his own personal experiences that he's dealt with. So we're going to call him a liar or anti-Semitic because he's had those personal experiences and he knows who he's dealt with? Make it make sense to me.
Look at who he is as far as stature in the world, and like he's the black billionaire, you know?
Well,
It's crazy how he's being scrutinized. So,
well, yeah, I
I'm
mean,
saying that he ain't crazy, but that's a different topic. You know, does that make sense?
right.
Like,
No, and it does make sense because because Kanye's got money, people want his opinion. They, he's got a big following. I mean, he's big in not only music, but shoes, clothing. Kanye West in himself doesn't even go by Kanye West. He goes by Yeezy or Ye.
Yep.
So he's a whole brand. Anything that he does, just like with the music that you're hearing in the background, that is Circumstantial Saint, aka Jontel Tolan. So that's a brand.
Right.
It doesn't. So you have to separate Kanye West from Yeezy, because we're not always hearing from Kanye West. We might be hearing from Yeezy, and people have, just like with Prince. He was
the artist formerly known as Prince.
known as Prince.
That symbol.
Right. The symbol. And then when his real name was Roger Nelson. So we all live in different personas. And it's not even actually of being something. You look at Meek Mill, that's not his real name.
Right.
You look at DJ Khaled, that's not his real name. Fat Joe, 50 Cent, Rick Ross, these are not these real. It's a persona. It's a fairy tale. It's basically like a comic book character that we're paying for entertainment, but they really live in it. But actually, some of these people do live it in real life. Not going to say that
but the media got white people thinking that these are our leaders or our idols or something.
Right.
They're not.
Right.
They're their own people too, and like, who said that they want to be pillars? I get that they have responsibility because they're celebrities, but they're not our spokespeople.
No, and not just because Kanye
They
is black,
selling their own shit too.
Right. He doesn't speak for every black person.
That too.
Nipsey didn't speak for every black person.
Right.
But he did want to speak for people in his community, and that's where
there's a difference.
There's a difference, right? Just like Chaz Neal wants to speak for people in his community, not for all black people, but for people in his community.
Right.
And that's where we have to, because when I want to talk about bringing everybody to the table, I'm talking about bringing everybody, not just a certain few, because you can't bring just a certain few, because then you're not getting every aspect of the problem. You have to bring everybody to the table, or you're never going to solve the core issue. You're never going to get to a solution, because you're just ignoring the problem. Mm-hmm. So with that, we're going to take you know what time it is, time to pay the bills. So we're going to take that commercial break real quick, and we will be right back.
You already know. It's time for tea. Tune in. Looking to advertise your business to a diverse and conscious audience? Are you looking to give back to your community or have your voice heard? The Leon Block is looking for you. We want to provide people and small businesses with more traffic while connecting more people from all backgrounds, as well as integrating viewers more into what we do. Community is everything. Will you join us in helping build a better community? The Leon Block Independent Media Group is a grassroots independent media platform by the people seeking to fill the gaps news deserts have created. Left and socialist leaning, we are pro-black, and we cover stories of police brutality, human rights, environmental issues, racism, and more in a more in-depth way that the mainstream can't, won't, and doesn't provide. Our mission is to change the way citizens look at media, to embolden everyone to take part in politics and become an integral and active part of their community, to enrich all of our lives, and to combat racism. We focus on police-involved cases and incidents of racism, spirituality, world issues and news, history, music and art, environment, and many more. The Leon Block Independent Media is a network providing press, arts, and other media and resources aimed to better reconnect the most oppressed. We run daily web shows through social media, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and post information about current events or simple memes to make you think. We try to target different audiences, and we do not censor anyone as we seek to provide truth that mainstream media does not. Check out our websites. You can also reach out to us via email or text. And if you'd like to reach out for more information or more information on our sponsorship opportunities as well, please hit us up through text at 484-909-0873. Hope to hear from you.
Yo, yo, yo.
Whoa. So, we're going to talk some more about Kanye. And I want to, so this is another Minneapolis activist, Toussaint Morrison. And here he's taking a clip of something that Kanye said on Drink Champs, which is took down now. So for me, you're not even playing a whole clip. You're taking a section to be performative with it, and because honestly, it's not victim blaming. It's not victim shaming of anything like that. So for me, is he wrong of saying that George Floyd died because of fentanyl? Yeah, he's very wrong in saying that, because George Floyd died at the knee of the Minneapolis Police Department and Derek Chauvin. So there's no getting around that. But what I want y'all to take from this is of how he's saying that Kanye is using this to build his brand. This is we're talking about a billionaire, the richest black man in America, who doesn't need to do anything to go to social media or anything. He's only coming out speaking because of the fact that people are trying to silence him. And now that he's coming out and speaking his truths, the way that he sees his opinion, doesn't make it right. But it doesn't mean that he needs to be silenced either.
Right.
Because we all have opinions, regardless of how we see it. There's a right and a wrong, and we have to call out the wrongs. Now, the way that they're doing it is wrong. So we're going to listen to Toussaint Morrison and what he thinks about Kanye West.
Knee wasn't even on his neck like that.
This is a perfect example of what we talked about recently, and that is victim blaming. And usually when you get victim blaming from the media or the cops, it's usually to exonerate said law enforcement that committed state-sanctioned violence to keep the state-sanctioned violence going. However, in Kanye West's case, he's victim blaming sheerly to bring attention to himself. Kanye West recently said this.
He said a prayer for 8 minutes. They hit him with the fentanyl. If you look, the guy's knee wasn't even on his neck like that.
And this is a perfect example of what we talked about recently, and that is victim blaming. And usually when you get victim blaming from the media or the cops, it's usually to exonerate said law enforcement that committed state-sanctioned violence.
What I want to speak about, there is no exonerating Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin is convicted, not only state, but federally. There is no exonerating Derek Chauvin. There is no exonerating the Minneapolis Police Department. Now, who he's exonerating is Mayor Frey. Who he's exonerating is Governor Walz. Who he is exonerating is all the bosses of Derek Chauvin, who he's exonerating, is even him himself, because this isn't an activist who has been around for years. But yet, what change do we have beyond you putting money in your pockets? That's what I want people. So what is any differently than what he's doing when what he's talking about with Kanye? What is anything that he's doing differently? Now, see, Kanye's reach is millions.
Right.
He's got 263 likes because he's talking about Kanye West. Just like the reason why this video today will get views, because I'm talking about Kanye West. I understand that. But I'm also going to get views because I'm giving you a different perspective.
Right.
And this is the same thing that this man fights for that you're seeing in the background, I fight for. Only difference is I don't make money off of it. I don't get to go on vacations. I don't get to go and don't leave my couch or tell people that I'm by any means necessary. But when the shit really starts, I'm a track star. So, and yeah, there's some personal content there when I call that man a track star. So, or that he's not what he talks about. So, and no disrespect to him, because the people fall for it. Just not everybody does.
Right.
Just not everybody does. And I'm not gonna. It's not to hate on them, because honestly, do your thing, Playboy. But I just don't agree with it. Just like how he don't agree with Kanye, I don't agree with Kanye either. But I'm not about to sit here and call it victim blaming, victim shaming, and you're gonna call out somebody, but yet you don't like to be called out yourself. That makes no sense to me. Well, we're sitting here drinking, sipping our tea.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, and the next thing I want to bring up is there's a clip that was posted yesterday that in Skid Row, which is one of the worst parts of Los Angeles, there were people that were passing out White Lives Matter shirts, courtesy of Kanye West. And people, there's some backlash going around, and I want to ask why. It's closed.
Yeah, let them know. Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
So I don't honestly do White Lives Matter. Everybody in the damn United States of America knows that White Lives Matter. Even though that there isn't no such thing as a white life. Yeah, you heard me say it, because white is a color. It isn't an ethnic. It isn't an ethnic. So an ethnic is you being Norwegian, Scottish, Swedish, European.
Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger.
So I really want people to realize that we were labeled something that we aren't even, because I'm not black. I'm African American. Black is the color of my hoodie. Black is the color of my shoes. I'm not that color. If anything, I'm closer to the color of my coffee I'm sipping on right now, which has got creamer and sugar in it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, which I do have cream and sugar in me. My mama is Swedish and Norwegian, and she got some German in her. So, I mean, it's whatever you want to call it, mixed, whatever. That I call myself African American because I love both parts of who I am. My mom is an American. My dad is originally from Africa.
Got you.
So I'm African American. That's what my birth certificate says. So I want people to I honestly don't even say that. It says I'm black. They didn't even put mixed race until just very recently because my oldest daughter, who just turned 22, her birth certificate says black, but you go to her younger sister, her middle sister, and hers says mixed race. So there's a 4-year difference.
Wow.
So it wasn't even until about 2004 that they even switched to putting mixed race on there. So I want people to understand this. We didn't have a choice of what to call ourselves because when I was growing up, I didn't honestly know what I was. I didn't know who I was because when I hung around people that I felt I related to, which were black people, I wasn't dark enough, or my lips weren't big enough, or my nose wasn't wide enough.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got around white people,
Right.
it was the other way around. I was too dark, my lips were too big, my nose was too big. I just felt out of place from both races, but I felt love from my parents. I felt love from the people that called me family, and they were all nationalities. So I didn't grow up hating my black people because they didn't like me because of the fact that maybe I wasn't dark enough. And I didn't hate my white people because I wasn't white enough. I grew to love everybody for no matter what they look like because I love myself. I love being a black man. Regardless if I'm not dark enough, regardless if I'm not white enough, I love my mocha, caramel, skin.
Yes.
I love my freckles.
Yes.
I love my big lips, even though I don't think they're really that big. I love my nose because it makes me me. And I'm no different than my white neighbor, no different than my Asian neighbor, because we all have the same 10 toes, 10 fingers. Somebody maybe has an extra one because they're special. God loved them a little bit more.
Right.
But we all have the same thing, 2 ears. You know, we all have 2 eyes, hopefully. Maybe some of us can't see clearly out of them, so we got glasses on. But it's about loving one another and getting past the skin. It's getting past the religion. It's getting past the sexuality, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. You should just love thy neighbor, what the Bible says. Love, since everybody wants to talk about the Bible, what does the Bible say? What's one of the 10 commandments? Love thy neighbor. It doesn't say don't love that neighbor because they're black. It doesn't say don't love thy neighbor because they're white.
Right.
No, it says love thy neighbor. So it meant to love everybody regardless. So for all you Bible thumpers that say you're Christians, remember that. Love thy neighbor.
Right.
It doesn't matter if they're black. It doesn't matter if they're gay. It doesn't matter if they're pro-life. It doesn't matter if they're pro-choice. They're a neighbor, so you love them. Grow to understand. And that's what's missing, is we don't want to listen and we don't want to learn. Because we could learn so much, regardless if we don't agree with the person, we could still learn so much. We could still learn so much. It's just because we don't agree or have the same perspective doesn't mean that that person isn't knowledgeable. Does not mean that they are not knowledgeable. And that's one thing that I want y'all to take away on this Truthful Tuesday, because we'll have Truthful Tuesday every Tuesday. And we're going to speak about the truth. And I want people to know, regardless of whatever, the truth can sometimes be uncomfortable. But does that make it wrong? Does that mean that we don't want to hear it? The truth is what we need to hear. Been going with that. You know, tomorrow is Wild and Out Wednesday. So we're going to talk about wild things.
Yeah.
We're going to get into wild politics a little bit. Wild, what's going on in the community. So stay tuned for that. Also stay tuned for every Sunday, State of America. tea every evening between 8 Eastern, 7 Central. You also have Freedom for All with Megan Keller. You can find everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Anchor.
Right.
Leon Block, same thing. Circumstantial Saint, great music. Please go out and listen.
That's right. Yes.
A little bit of everything on there. If you like reggae, reggaeton, if you just like beats, great beats on there. Or if you just like poetry, if you one of them poetry slam poets, something you'll love. If you're a person that likes ciphers, another great thing to go to. These are all great individuals, great artists, great talent. So please go out and support. So until next time, I'm Chaz, and as always, meditate through the pain, celebrate the ties that bond, liberate our people, educate our youth so we can stop the bloodshed. Be the change. Shut up and hell, win or fail, freedom or jail, heaven or hell, wish me well.
Be blessed, y'all.